Benny's Brave Adventure, A Night Under the Stars. Chapter 1. Benny's Brave Adventure. The sun had just peeked over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the lush, magical forest. Benny the brave bunny, his eyes shining with excitement, stood at the entrance of his cozy burrow, gazing out at the enchanting landscape before him. He had dreamed of this moment for as long as he could remember, the chance to venture into the forest and explore its wonders. Benny hopped out of his burrow, his fluffy tail twitching with anticipation. He took a deep breath, savoring the earthy scent of the forest and the sweet fragrance of the colorful flowers that dotted the landscape. Turning to his mother, who stood watching from the doorway, Benny said, "Mother, I'm going to explore the forest today. I can't wait to see what adventures await me." Benny's mother smiled warmly, her eyes filled with pride. "I know you're ready, my brave little one," she said, placing a gentle paw on his head. "Remember, kindness and bravery will guide you on your journey. The forest holds many wonders, but also some challenges. Be sure to stay safe and come back to me when the stars shine in the sky." Benny nodded enthusiastically, his ears perking up. "I will, Mother. I'll be the bravest and kindest bunny in the whole forest." With that, he hopped away, his fluffy tail bouncing behind him as he made his way into the lush greenery. As Benny ventured deeper into the forest, his senses were overwhelmed by the beauty that surrounded him. The towering trees swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets, and the sparkling streams danced across the mossy ground. Benny's eyes widened in awe, and he couldn't help but stop every few hops to examine a fascinating flower or listen to the melodic calls of the birds. Suddenly, Benny heard a soft whimper coming from a nearby tree. Perking up his ears, he hopped closer to investigate. To his surprise, he found a small, trembling squirrel stuck on a high branch, unable to climb down. "Oh no," the squirrel cried, his voice quivering with fear. "I can't get down. I'm stuck." Benny's heart swelled with compassion. Without hesitation, he scurried up the tree, his nimble paws gripping the bark with ease. Reaching the branch where the squirrel was perched, Benny said in a gentle, encouraging tone, "Don't worry, I'm here to help. What's your name?" The squirrel looked up at Benny, his eyes filled with relief and gratitude. I'm Sammy," he stammered. "Thank you for coming to rescue me." "It's nice to meet you, Sammy," Benny replied with a warm smile. "I'm Benny, and I'm happy to help." Carefully, he maneuvered himself next to Sammy and gently guided him down the tree, step by step, until they reached the ground. Once safely on solid ground, Sammy turned to Benny, his tail twitching nervously. "Thank you so much, Benny," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I was so scared up there." Benny placed a comforting paw on Sammy's shoulder. "I'm glad I could help you, Sammy," he said, his eyes shining with kindness. "Now, what do you say we explore the forest together? I'd love to have a new friend to join me on my adventure." Sammy's eyes widened, and a small smile crept across his face. "Really? You want to be my friend?" he asked, his voice filled with disbelief. Benny nodded enthusiastically. "Absolutely. Come on, let's go explore and see what other wonders the forest has in store for us." With a newfound sense of courage, Sammy nodded and followed Benny as they ventured deeper into the magical forest, their footsteps leaving a trail of hope and the promise of a budding friendship. Chapter 2. The Stuck Squirrel. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the enchanted forest, Benny the brave bunny hopped along the winding path, his eyes sparkling with excitement. The gentle breeze rustled the leaves, whispering secrets of the magical world that lay ahead. Benny's heart raced with anticipation, for he had dreamed of this moment for as long as he could remember. With each bound, he took in the sights and sounds around him, the babbling brook, the twinkling fireflies, and the distant call of a nightingale. Suddenly, Benny heard a soft whimper coming from a nearby tree. He perked up his ears and hopped closer, his curiosity piqued. There, clinging to a high branch, was a trembling squirrel. "Oh no, I can't get down," the squirrel cried, his voice quivering with fear. Benny's eyes widened with concern. "Don't worry, I'll help you," he called out, bravely scampering up the tree trunk. Reaching the branch, Benny gently placed his paw on the squirrel's shoulder. "It's all right, I'm here. What's your name?" The squirrel looked up, his dark eyes filled with relief. "I am Sammy," he stammered. "Well, Sammy, let's get you down from here," Benny said with a reassuring smile. He carefully guided Sammy, step by step, until they both reached the ground safely. Sammy's trembling subsided, and he gazed at Benny with a newfound sense of wonder. "Thank you so much. I was so scared up there." Benny beamed, his chest swelling with pride. "I'm just glad I could help. I'm Benny, by the way. Would you like to be friends?" Sammy's eyes widened, and a shy smile crept across his face. "Friends?" he whispered, as if the word was unfamiliar to him. "Yes, friends!" Benny exclaimed, bouncing excitedly. "We can explore the forest together and have all sorts of adventures." Sammy hesitated for a moment, but the warmth in Benny's eyes and the kindness in his voice soon won him over. "Okay, Benny," he said softly. "I'd like that." The two new friends set off, side by side, deeper into the enchanted forest, their footsteps light and their hearts filled with the promise of adventure. Benny couldn't wait to show Sammy all the wonders that lay in store, and Sammy, for the first time in a long while, felt a sense of excitement and belonging. As they ventured forth, the forest seemed to come alive, the trees whispering their welcome, and the flowers blooming brighter than ever before. Benny knew that this was just the beginning of a truly magical journey, and he couldn't wait to see what other surprises the forest had in store. Chapter 3. The Wise Owl. Benny the Brave Bunny and his new friend Sammy the Shy Squirrel wandered deeper into the enchanted forest, their eyes wide with wonder. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the sparkling streams and vibrant flowers that surrounded them. "Isn't this place amazing, Sammy?" Benny exclaimed, hopping over a fallen log. Sammy scurried along beside him, his tail twitching nervously. "It's so big and beautiful. I've never been this far from home before." As they ventured further, a soft hoot echoed through the trees. Benny perked up his ears. "Did you hear that, Sammy? Let's go see." The two friends followed the sound until they spotted a magnificent owl perched on a branch, her feathers glowing in the fading light. "Welcome, brave bunnies," the owl hooted warmly. "I am Lila, the wise owl of the forest." Benny's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Wow, it's so nice to meet you, Lila. Can you tell us stories of friendship? I want to learn all about it." Lila chuckled, her wise eyes twinkling. "Of course, young Benny. Friendship is one of the most precious gifts we can have in this world." She ruffled her feathers and began to speak in a soothing, melodic tone. Long ago, when the forest was young, there lived a group of creatures who were all quite different from one another. There was a curious fox, a timid rabbit, and a bold squirrel. At first, they kept to themselves, unsure of how to approach the others. Sammy listened intently, his eyes wide as Lila continued. But one day, the fox found the rabbit stuck in a thorn bush, struggling to free himself. Without hesitation, the fox used his sharp teeth to gently pull the thorns away, helping the rabbit to safety. The grateful rabbit then showed the fox the best berry bushes to find food. Benny nodded, his ears perking up. "Just like how I helped Sammy." Lila smiled and nodded. "Exactly, Benny. From that day on, the fox and the rabbit became the best of friends, exploring the forest together and watching out for one another." Sammy spoke up, his voice soft but steady. "And what about the squirrel?" "Ah, the squirrel," Lila said, her eyes twinkling. "Well, one day, the squirrel was gathering nuts for the winter when he lost his balance and tumbled from a high branch. The fox and the rabbit heard his frightened cries and rushed to help him. Together, they caught the squirrel and made sure he was unharmed." Benny bounced excitedly. "That's so amazing. The animals all helped each other, even though they were different." Lila nodded. "Yes, Benny. Kindness and friendship can bring the most unexpected creatures together." From that day on, the fox, the rabbit, and the squirrel became the best of friends, exploring the forest, sharing their stories, and looking out for one another. Sammy's eyes shone with a newfound sense of wonder. "I want to be a good friend like that, Benny. Will you help me?" Benny beamed, hopping over to Sammy and giving him a gentle nudge. "Of course, Sammy. We'll be the best of friends, just like in Lila's story." The wise owl hooted softly, her heart filled with joy at the sight of the two young friends. "That's the spirit, Benny and Sammy. Kindness and friendship will guide you on many adventures to come." With renewed excitement, Benny and Sammy continued their journey, their hearts open to the wonders that the enchanted forest had in store for them. Chapter 4. A Twinkling Challenge. a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, revealing a hidden path that sparkled with a faint, magical glow. Benny the Brave Bunny's eyes widened with excitement. "Look, Sammy, a new path to explore," he exclaimed, hopping up and down. Sammy the Shy Squirrel peered at the path, his tail twitching nervously. "I don't know, Benny. It looks a little scary," he said, his voice trembling. Suddenly, Lila the Wise Owl swooped down and perched on a nearby branch. "Welcome, brave friends," she hooted softly. "This path is a test of your friendship. It will challenge you, but if you face it together, you will grow stronger." Benny turned to Sammy, his eyes shining. "Did you hear that, Sammy? A test of our friendship. We have to try it." He bounced eagerly, his paws itching to explore. Sammy hesitated, his gaze shifting between the glimmering path and his new friend's encouraging expression. "I'm not sure, Benny. What if something bad happens?" Lila's wise eyes met Sammy's. "Fear not, young squirrel. Benny's bravery and your friendship will guide you. Remember, kindness and courage are the keys to overcoming any challenge." Benny nodded enthusiastically. "See, Sammy, we can do this together." He reached out his paw, a warm smile on his face. Sammy looked at Benny's outstretched paw, then back at the twinkling path. Taking a deep breath, he placed his tiny paw in Benny's. "Okay, Benny, let's do it." The two friends turned towards the path, their paws linked, and began to walk. The sparkling trail seemed to shimmer and dance, as if alive with its own magic. Benny's heart raced with excitement, while Sammy's tail twitched with a mixture of nervousness and determination. As they ventured deeper into the path, the forest around them grew darker, and shadows began to dance and twist around them. Sammy's grip on Benny's paw tightened, and he let out a small whimper. Benny felt his friend's fear, and he squeezed Sammy's paw reassuringly. "It's okay, Sammy. I'm right here with you. We'll face the shadows together." Lila's voice echoed from the trees. "Remember, my friends, this is a test of your friendship. Kindness and bravery will guide you through the darkness." Benny and Sammy continued to walk, their steps slow and cautious, as the shadows seemed to grow more menacing around them. But with each step, Sammy's grip on Benny's paw grew a little less tight, and his trembling began to subside. Suddenly, a loud rustling sound came from the bushes ahead, and the friends froze in their tracks. Benny's ears perked up, and he stood tall, ready to protect his friend. Sammy's eyes widened, and he pressed closer to Benny, his heart pounding. But just as the tension reached its peak, a small, lost bird emerged from the foliage, its feathers ruffled and its eyes filled with fear. "Oh, please help me," the bird chirped, its voice quivering. "I can't find my way home." Benny and Sammy exchanged a glance, and in that moment, they knew exactly what to do. Benny turned to the bird and said, "Don't worry, we'll help you." Sammy nodded, his shyness momentarily forgotten as he stepped forward to assist the lost creature. As they guided the bird back to its family, Benny felt a surge of pride and joy. He had faced the shadows and the challenges of the path, and he had done it with his new friend by his side. Sammy, too, seemed to stand a little taller, his confidence growing with each act of kindness. The friends emerged from the path, their fur ruffled, but their hearts full. Lila the Wise Owl greeted them with a warm hoot. "Well done, my brave friends. You have passed the test of friendship with flying colors." Benny and Sammy smiled at each other, their bond stronger than ever. They knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with kindness and bravery as their guides. Chapter 5. The Scary Shadows. As the path ahead darkened, Benny the Brave Bunny could feel Sammy the Shy Squirrel's paw trembling in his own. The shadows danced around them, casting eerie shapes across the forest floor. Sammy's eyes grew wide with fear, and he let out a small whimper. "Don't be scared, Sammy," Benny said, giving his friend's paw a gentle squeeze. "We're together, and I'll protect you." Sammy took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. "But Benny, what if the shadows are dangerous?" Lila the Wise Owl, who had been guiding them, hooted softly from a nearby branch. "The shadows may seem scary, but they cannot harm you if you face them with courage and friendship." Benny nodded, turning to Sammy with a reassuring smile. "Lila's right. As long as we stick together, we can get through anything." Slowly, the two friends continued down the path, their eyes adjusting to the growing darkness. Benny could feel Sammy's grip tightening, but he refused to let go. They moved cautiously, watching as the shadows seemed to twist and turn around them. "Look, Sammy," Benny suddenly exclaimed. "The shadows are just playing. They're not trying to hurt us." Sammy peered closer, and as he did, the shadows appeared to dance and sway, almost as if they were inviting the friends to join in. Tentatively, Sammy let go of Benny's paw and took a few steps forward, reaching out to touch the nearest shadow. To his surprise, the shadow seemed to respond, swirling around his paw in a gentle embrace. Sammy's eyes lit up with wonder, and he let out a small giggle. "See, Sammy?" Benny said, hopping up beside him. "The shadows are just like us. They want to be friends." Encouraged by Benny's words, Sammy became bolder, waving his paws through the shadows and watching them dance around him. Lila observed from her perch, her wise eyes shining with pride. "You've both shown great courage tonight," she said, her voice warm and soothing. "By facing your fears together, you've discovered the true magic of friendship." Benny and Sammy beamed, their hearts filled with a sense of accomplishment. They had overcome the challenge of the shadows, and in doing so, had strengthened their bond even further. As they continued down the path, the shadows seemed to part before them, guiding them forward with a gentle, playful energy. Benny and Sammy walked side by side, their paws intertwined, feeling more confident and connected than ever before. "I'm glad I have you as a friend, Benny," Sammy said, his voice barely above a whisper. "And I'm glad I have you, Sammy," Benny replied, giving his friend's paw a squeeze. "Together, we can face anything." With renewed determination, the two friends pressed on, their journey through the enchanted forest continuing to unfold with each step. Chapter 6. The Kindness Challenge. Benny the brave bunny and Sammy the shy squirrel continued their adventure through the enchanted forest, their paws crunching on the mossy ground as they explored the winding paths. Suddenly, they heard a faint chirping in the distance. "Do you hear that, Sammy?" Benny asked, his ears perking up. Sammy nodded, his tail twitching nervously. "It sounds like it's coming from over there," he said, pointing towards a cluster of tall trees. Benny took a deep breath and said, "Let's go check it out. Maybe we can help." Sammy hesitated for a moment, but Benny's enthusiasm was contagious, and he found himself following his brave friend. As they drew closer, they spotted a family of birds, their feathers ruffled and their eyes wide with worry. "Please, can you help us?" a small bird chirped. "We've lost our way, and we can't find our nest." Benny turned to Sammy, his eyes shining with determination. "Of course we'll help, right, Sammy?" Sammy's heart raced, but he knew he couldn't let his fear hold him back. Remembering Lila's wise words about the power of friendship, he nodded and said, "Yes, we'll help you." The two friends set off, guiding the bird family through the winding paths of the forest. Benny took the lead, his ears alert for any signs of the bird's nest, while Sammy followed close behind, keeping a watchful eye on the little birds. As they navigated the forest, Sammy noticed that his fear was slowly melting away. Benny's unwavering courage and kindness were infectious, and Sammy felt a newfound sense of confidence. Finally, they reached a tall oak tree, its branches swaying gently in the breeze. "There it is," one of the birds exclaimed. "Our nest is up there." Benny turned to Sammy and said, "Shall we help them get home?" Sammy nodded, a small smile spreading across his face. "Yes, let's do it." Working together, Benny and Sammy carefully lifted the birds one by one, guiding them safely to their nest. The little birds chirped happily, nuzzling their parents with relief. "Thank you, brave bunnies," the mother bird said, her eyes shining with gratitude. As the birds settled into their nest, Benny and Sammy stood back, watching with pride. "We did it, Sammy," Benny exclaimed, his tail wagging excitedly. Sammy nodded, his voice soft but steady. "We did, and it feels amazing." Lila the wise owl, who had been watching the scene unfold from a nearby branch, fluttered down to join the friends. "You have shown great kindness today, my dear ones," she said, her voice warm and soothing. "By helping others, you have not only brought joy to the bird family, but also strengthened your own friendship." Benny beamed, his chest puffed out with pride. "I'm so glad we could help them, Lila, and Sammy was so brave." Sammy blushed, his eyes shining with a newfound confidence. "I couldn't have done it without you, Benny. You're the bravest bunny I know." The three friends stood together, basking in the glow of their shared accomplishment. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the forest, Benny and Sammy knew that their bond had grown even stronger, forged through the power of kindness and friendship. Chapter 7. Starry Reflection. The twilight sky was ablaze with twinkling stars as Benny the Brave Bunny and Sammy the Shy Squirrel sat together in the enchanted forest. After their successful mission of guiding the lost bird family home, the two friends felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. Benny gazed up at the vast, starry canvas above them, his eyes wide with wonder. "Isn't it just the most beautiful sight, Sammy?" he exclaimed, his voice brimming with excitement. Sammy nodded, his earlier shyness melting away as he too admired the magnificent display of celestial light. "It's so peaceful and calming," he said softly, his tail twitching gently. Just then, a familiar voice echoed through the trees. "Well done, brave ones." Lila the wise owl glided down and perched gracefully beside the two friends. Her large amber eyes shone with warmth and approval. "Lila!" Benny cried, hopping over to greet her. "Did you see us help the bird family? It was the most wonderful thing." Lila let out a gentle hoot. "Indeed I did. You both showed great courage and kindness today." She turned to Sammy, who had approached shyly. "And you, Sammy, have grown so much in your confidence. I'm proud of you both." Sammy's cheeks flushed with pride, and he managed a small smile. "Thank you, Lila. I couldn't have done it without Benny's help." Benny beamed, placing a paw on Sammy's shoulder. "That's what friends are for, Sammy. We look out for each other." Lila nodded sagely. "Friendship is a powerful thing, my young friends. It can help us overcome our fears and bring joy to others." She gestured up at the stars. "Just like these twinkling lights, your bond shines brightly, guiding you through the darkness." Benny's eyes sparkled with understanding. "You're right, Lila. Sammy and I are the best of friends, and we'll always be there for each other." Sammy nodded in agreement, feeling a newfound sense of confidence and belonging. "I'm so glad I met you, Benny. You've shown me that I can be brave, too." The three friends sat together, sharing stories and laughter under the starry sky. Benny and Sammy marveled at Lila's wisdom, each feeling grateful for the friendship they had forged. As the night wore on, Benny let out a contented sigh. "This has been the most amazing adventure, Lila. I'm so happy I got to explore the forest and make a new friend." Lila hooted softly. "And I'm sure your friendship will continue to grow, Benny. Remember, kindness and bravery will guide you, no matter where your path leads." Sammy nodded, his eyes sparkling with newfound courage. "I'll always remember this night, Benny. Thank you for being my friend." The trio sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars twinkle above them. Benny felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him, knowing that he had found true friendship in the enchanted forest. As the night drew to a close, Benny reluctantly rose to his paws. "I should be heading home now. My parents are probably waiting for me." Lila gave him an understanding nod. "Sleep well, Benny. You've earned a good night's rest after your brave adventure." Benny turned to Sammy, his heart swelling with affection. "Goodbye, Sammy. I can't wait for our next adventure." Sammy smiled shyly. "Goodbye, Benny. I'll be here, waiting for you." With a final wave, Benny hopped back towards his cozy burrow, his mind filled with the memories of the day's events and the warmth of his newfound friendship. Chapter 8. Homeward Bound. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the enchanted forest, Benny the Brave Bunny and Sammy the Shy Squirrel began their journey back home. Their adventure had been filled with wonder, friendship, and the discovery of their own inner strength, and they were both reluctant to see it come to an end. "This was the best day ever," Benny exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. He hopped along the winding path, his ears perked up, taking in every sight and sound of the forest. Sammy, who had once been timid and afraid, now walked alongside Benny with a newfound confidence. "I never knew I could be brave," he said, his voice soft but steady. "But you showed me that I can do anything, as long as I have a friend by my side." Benny beamed at Sammy's words, his heart swelling with pride. He remembered how just a short time ago, Sammy had been stuck in a tree, terrified and unsure of himself. But now, the shy squirrel had blossomed, his shyness replaced by a sense of wonder and adventure. As they walked, the two friends shared stories of their favorite moments from the day, rescuing the lost bird family, facing the shadows in the twinkling path, and the wisdom Lila the wise owl had imparted to them. "I'm so glad we became friends, Sammy," Benny said, his voice sincere. I don't know what I would have done without you by my side. Sammy nodded, a shy smile spreading across his face. Me too, Benny. You showed me that I don't have to be afraid, and that there's so much beauty and wonder in the world to discover. The two friends continued on, their paws leaving imprints in the soft earth as they made their way back home. Benny couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment and pride. He had set out on an adventure, and not only had he discovered the magic of the forest, but he had also found a true friend in Sammy. As they approached Benny's cozy burrow, the bunny turned to Sammy and said, "You know, Sammy, I'm going to miss you when I go back home, but I have an idea. Why don't you come and visit me tomorrow? We can explore the forest some more." Sammy's eyes widened with excitement. "Really? I'd love that, Benny," he exclaimed, his tail twitching with joy. Benny nodded enthusiastically. "It's a plan, then. We'll have so many more adventures together." The two friends shared one last hug before Benny scurried into his burrow, his heart filled with happiness. As he settled into his soft, warm bed, Benny gazed up at the twinkling stars through the entrance of his home. "Good night, Sammy," he called out, knowing that his new friend was nearby, safe and sound in his own cozy tree. "Good night, Benny." Sammy's voice echoed back, and Benny smiled, drifting off to sleep, dreaming of the magical adventures that awaited them in the days to come. Chapter 9: Sweet Dreams Under the Stars. As the twilight faded into a velvety night sky, Benny the Brave Bunny hopped back to his cozy burrow, his heart filled with the warmth of friendship and the wonders of the enchanted forest. The twinkling stars overhead seemed to dance with the same joyful energy that Benny carried within him. Settling into his soft bed, Benny gazed up at the night sky, replaying the events of the day in his mind. The rescue of Sammy the Shy Squirrel, the wise words of Lila the Owl, and the challenges they had faced together, it all felt like a dream. Yet Benny knew it was very real. "Good night, Sammy," Benny called out, his voice carrying through the still forest air. From his cozy tree, Sammy's timid voice replied, "Good night, Benny." The once shy squirrel's words were laced with a newfound confidence, a testament to the transformation Benny's friendship had brought about. Benny snuggled deeper into his bed, his eyes growing heavy with the weight of a day well spent. As he drifted off to sleep, the young bunny's mind filled with images of the forest's magic, the sparkling streams, the whispering trees, and the gentle hoot of Lila the Owl. In his dreams, Benny found himself back in the enchanted forest, this time with Sammy by his side. The two friends explored the winding paths, discovering new wonders at every turn. They raced through the trees, their laughter echoing through the forest. When they grew tired, they would rest under the watchful gaze of Lila, who would share more of her wisdom and stories. Benny dreamed of the challenges they had faced and how their friendship had grown stronger through each one. He remembered the moment he had rescued Sammy from the tree, the fear in the squirrel's eyes slowly replaced by gratitude and joy. And he cherished the memory of Sammy's newfound confidence, the way he had overcome his shyness to help the lost bird family. As the dream unfolded, Benny felt a deep sense of pride and belonging. He knew that he had found not just a friend, but a true companion, someone who would brave the unknown by his side, someone he could trust. The night wore on, and Benny's dreams continued to weave tales of their future adventures. He imagined the two of them exploring hidden paths, encountering new creatures, and facing challenges together. In each scenario, Benny's bravery and Sammy's growing confidence complemented each other, creating a bond that was unbreakable. Finally, as the first rays of dawn began to peek over the horizon, Benny stirred in his sleep, a content smile spreading across his face. He knew that tomorrow would bring more opportunities for exploration and friendship, and he couldn't wait to share it all with Sammy. With a contented sigh, Benny drifted off into a peaceful slumber, dreaming of the magical days to come, secure in the knowledge that he had found a true friend in the enchanted forest.